Traffic on your way, and what's news around the world today.
Some wisdom skills along the way.
Oh, and a song to hum along with and sway.
Get your perfect entertaining start to the day.
At 9 a.m. every weekday morning with
Mahima's
Good Morning Bay.
आप सभी लोग हमारे तरफ से एक प्यार भरा नमस्ते
नमस्कार
वनकम
नमस्कार
खुशामदी
अस्सलाम वालेकुम
सत श्री अकाल
మీకు అందరికీ వందనము
जय स्वामी नारायण
जय श्री कृष्ण
जय जिनेंद्र
हमारे इस्माइली भाई बंधुओं को बोलते यारी मदद
मौला अली मदद बोलते हुए सारे फीजी मदद बोलेंगे नीसा बुला बनजान हम आ गए हैं आपके प्यारे महिमा के द्वारा मैं सिर्फ फालतू बाबा
एंड ऑफ कोर्स माय सेल्फ फालतू रानी लेकर आपके लिए एक और ड्राइव टाइम शो दैट्स गोना मेक इट टोटली एक्साइटिंग एंड टोटली मस्तानी बन जाने
तो द बनजान याद दिला दूं आपको बनजान 2022 was like भागोइंग यार seriously भागोइंग literally this just like the tiger you don't know when like suddenly puchuk goes because the year of tiger you know what right
yeah
it's going to be the year of the tiger banjan
whoa the eye of the tiger I was remembering that song
that's why you should always have morning coffee
That's
if you're not able to, wake up properly, partying too much last night.
Baba,
see,
what partying
Sunday,
too much?
Sunday is a night you must not party hard. It's Friday, Saturday, okay,
who
chalega
is
fir bhi.
partying, whatever.
But point is, already, I'm not saying. What do you mean who's? I'm not saying who's partying. I'm saying whoever's partying, responsibly party karo, ताकि Sunday night को थोड़ा आप relax करके, then be ready for the next day. So you don't have to down like one small coffee every time whenever somebody goes to get the large coffee, extra large coffee at 7-Eleven, right? And mixing hot water with coffee. Yeah, seriously.
Ew.
How could you do that, Faltwani? Seriously.
Whatever.
Anyway, but right now, let me tell you, it's 10 days into the year. Can you imagine? Jan 10th ho gaya hai, Bhajan. I know you're wondering, oh my God, how come, Altu Baba, what happened? Where did it go? I don't know. But I'll tell you what, where people are going though.
Yeah. Where are they going?
Definitely not on the roads.
Yes, that's right, Bandujan.
रास्ते का हाल आपके लिए पेश करेंगे सस्ते में.
It's time for the Bandu Traffic Update. Call us from wherever you are at 408-912-2479.
That's up and down. If you have a traffic update to share with us, do share with us. Well, actually, sometimes I feel the COVID-19, the traffic, right, or COVID-19 is made for people like me who don't have to do much work.
Why, man?
Now much report, Berger. We're accepting a disabled vehicle is reported 87 northbound at I-28. Might be somebody like Faltwani who doesn't fill gas all the way.
What?
They would have got stuck. Sometimes they get stranded, when you don't do that. You have to call AAA and everything. But actually...
I don't call AAA, I call you.
I know that. Anyways. But there also is actually a report of... one more serious thing. Actually, injuries, accident... accident injuries on 880 southbound north of Stevenson Boulevard. So watch out for that. That is actually slowing down traffic a little bit because of congestion. This actually is on the southbound 880. So it's coming from Fremont towards Milpitas. So watch out for that road. It actually is backed up at least 2 exits over there. Not too much of a backup. CHP already is on the scene to clear things up. Otherwise, all of the roads are looking nice and smooth. Save a particular in Cupertino area on 280. A little bit of congestion over there on 280, but that'll also clear up pretty soon, I suppose, Banajam. Weather-wise, going to be wonderful weather for us. Yes, sunny all the way. Woo-hoo. Today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Faltwani, sunny. Is it going to be hot? Not exactly. It's going to be good weather actually, but just so if at all you want to, go out for a walk with your dogs or rather with your friends or your family, you can do that for sure. Many school districts actually are getting closed. We'll talk about the news for sure, Banujan, because we do know locally, Milpitas and Santa Clara actually are closing down schools for a week or two until at least the 18th. That's almost like 10 days for them closure until the Martin Luther King Day is finished. Then they want to come back afterwards to see what's happening with the Omicron case. Now you also want to see one thing: what's happening with the Omicron case, everybody. Don't worry, all that's coming right now with the news for you guys, updates, which is brought to you by News Desk of Media Mahima, which again is something which is shared by our Faltwani right here. So Faltwani, are you ready to share the news with us?
Yes, Alta Baba, absolutely.
All right, take it away.
The United States is charging a New York man criminally with threatening to kill former President Donald Trump, who he once referred to as Hitler. Prosecutors said the defendant, Thomas Welnicki, 72 years old, of Rockaway Beach, threatened to do, quote, everything I can, unquote, to ensure Trump's death, and once inquired about Secret Service protection for former presidents and their children.
Oh my goodness, I got serious about it.
Yeah.
At 72?
At 72. So
I think he's got nothing to lose, right? That's why.
no, it's the fact that he cannot afford to see democracy go down the.
You know, sometimes, you feel that for sure. You know what the thing about democracy, Faltwani?
Uh-huh.
The thing about democracy is nobody is happy.
Yeah.
That's when democracy is working. Neither this party nor the parties were happy. You got to come to some kind of medium, and finally somebody's not happy. The next elections come up and all this stuff. So it's designed to be a failure. But again, it's not a failure. It's a good way, of course. We get to voice our thoughts and everything. But then again, is he being charged already, or is he they're contemplating?
Well, he's already been charged, and a federal public defender representing Welnicki did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Lawyers for Trump did not immediately respond to similar requests either. Welnicki was charged with threatening to kill, kidnap, and inflict bodily harm on Donald Trump.
Oh, wow.
And in the meanwhile, let's also tell you sad news for the entertainment world. Bob Saget, an actor and comedian best known as the jovial dad on the television sitcom Full House, was found dead in a hotel room in Orlando, Florida at the age of 65, authorities and his family said on Sunday. The cause of death has not yet been revealed. In New York City, there was a really horrible news that broke, Panajan, with 19 people being killed, including 9 children, and dozens were injured when a fire started with a malfunctioning space heater, which spread smoke through a low-income building in the Bronx borough of New York City on Sunday, city officials have said. There is news, breaking news actually, just before this broadcast, that we found that there was supposed to be some open door that was actually the issue where the more people died and people couldn't actually access or couldn't get in and out. So that open door caused more of harm than being helpful in this particular case, they're saying. In other news, Manijan, lattes go missing and drive-thrus slow down as Omicron hits US restaurants. Starbucks consumers arriving to claim their mobile drink orders have found cafes shut, and delivery drivers are waiting longer to pick up some McDonald's Big Macs, is what they're saying, with Omicron surging because there's a huge staff shortage across the board. Even if a restaurant is supposedly open, and if the restaurant is supposedly in a place where they are supposed to be able to seat people inside, many restaurants are not seating. Have you noticed where you go and you are waiting and you see the whole restaurant's open, some people are getting service? It's because there's staff shortages. Many people, like Altu mentioned last week, it was called the American Sick Out, is that what it was called? Where people are called in sick. America called in sick last week. So right now there's a lot of talk about what's going on with regard to schools as well. We'll come to that shortly when I come to the local news. In other news, Manijan, the United States Supreme Court leaves in place limits on higher ethanol full blend. The US Supreme Court on Monday turned away an industry group's bid to revive a decision made by the Environmental Protection Agency under former President Donald Trump to allow expanded sales of gasoline that has a higher ethanol blend called E15. The action by the justices dealt a blow to the ethanol industry, which wants to increase sales and access to E15. In other news, Vanijan, a plane. Police in Los Angeles are saying that they pulled a pilot from a crash-landed Cessna plane seconds before the aircraft was hit by a train on Sunday, sending debris flying in all directions. Dramatic video obtained by Reuters shows several officers freeing the man from the downed plane, which had crashed shortly after takeoff in the Pacoima neighborhood, according to the local media. The officers and pilot are just a few feet away from the tracks when the passing train actually destroys the plane. It's like a movie scene. We'll actually share this on mediamahima.com, Manajan, so you can take a look at it. In local news, remember I talked about this on Friday, where the Milpitas Unified School District had, the board had made a decision to shut down the district. Well, in a last-minute reversal, the Milpitas Unified School District will now keep schools open for in-person learning from Jan 10 to Jan 14th. Despite an earlier district-wide quarantine proposal, which would have shut schools down for 10 days. The district will also offer remote learning if families prefer. We are thinking of going to remote learning this week because of the surge in COVID cases. So I think we'll go remote, said one Milpitas parent, whereas there are special education parents who feel that there are disruptions to education when children are pulled into remote learning, especially those who require hands-on support. Families in the district said that they have learned now to adapt to changes. On Friday, Milpitas Unified School District told its 10,000 students that it would switch entirely to remote learning for the week of Jan 10th because of a high number of COVID-19 cases and staffing shortages. But on Saturday, they said they didn't have the authority to make that call, and it's up to the Santa Clara County Public Health Department, which urged the district to keep the schools open. The district later sent a letter to families that the schools will be open this week and students have the option also to learn remotely. At Hayward Unified, remote learning is now the only option apparently for students this week. According to a letter, the district is transitioning all schools to virtual learning because of a surge in COVID-19 cases and severe staffing shortages. And they're saying that staffing shortages are going into hundreds of even substitute teachers not being available. And of course, many Bay Area school districts are facing major decisions with this COVID-19 Omicron surge. As the Omicron variant continues to spread, many Bay Area school districts are facing challenges and decisions. In San Francisco, according to a social media post by the Teachers Union, the school district ran out of COVID-19 test kits. And the union has asked the district to prioritize an agreement around masks, testing, and sick leave. The district did not immediately respond to requests for comment on the union's claims. The district has already offered additional 5 sick days for all employees to be taken for COVID-19 related reasons. Students in 2 other Bay Area school districts this week could be moving back to remote learning. Hayward Unified, like I mentioned, and also Milpitas, but Milpitas is now hybrid. Santa Clara County Education and Public Health officials agree that keeping schools open and classes in person full time is extremely important. In the meanwhile, California health workers are raising concerns over new COVID-19 protocols. According to the new state guidelines, healthcare workers who test positive for COVID-19 will no longer have to isolate or test negative and can return to work immediately if they are asymptomatic. Did you know that? The new guidelines are in effect till Feb 1st. It's a last resort for hospitals, but Sandy Redding, the president of California Nurses Association, says that the move is a grave mistake and it puts patients at risk. We are very concerned. If you have healthcare workers who are COVID positive, care for vulnerable populations, we can spread the virus inside the hospital as well. This is another big concern that's coming out. And like I mentioned, the Santa Clara County Office of Education and the county's Public Health Department agree that keeping schools open and in class full-time is important in this era of COVID-19. Officials said that school districts in the county may no longer offer remote or virtual learning in lieu of in-person instruction, stating that the students learn best when among their peers and have access to school resources. Keeping our students, staff, and families safe remains our top priority, Dr. Jan10, County School Superintendent, said. We are working alongside our school districts to protect in-person learning and practice the appropriate safety protocols. Dr. Sarah Cody, who is the Public Health Director, has said that the good news is that the cases we are seeing from Omicron are milder than previous COVID cases. And we've also learned that we need to find ways to coexist and live with COVID. And that's pretty much what I have from national and local news, Altu Baba. Do you have a Gane Ka Kira for us?
Of course, I always will have a Gade Kira for everybody out there, Jan. And yes, please stay healthy. Luckily, the weather is kind of heating up right now. That it's kind of the cloudiness is gone, and all the the dew and the residual of rain, all the stuff which gets people sick. Generally, the allergy season actually pretty much is dying out right now, Jan. So it's a good thing. Sunny weather outside doesn't that means that you don't have to wear heavy clothing. If you told you, I'll be like, I don't want to wear warm clothes. I want to be like heroine or a Superman, superhuman being like Faltrani. You guys don't have to worry about right now, so you can just be natural the way you want to be, right, Faltrani?
Yeah.
It's easy for you right now. You don't have to wear those warm clothing. You can still have
No,
cold shoulders open.
No. Hey, I'm not wearing cold shoulder. I'm wearing like
Summer wear. Oh, wow.
thick warm clothes.
Thick warm clothes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Faltrani. I can see, in proximity. It's not thick, but
Okay,
well.
well.
That's Faltrani for you guys. But of course, Faltrani is hot-blooded. I don't know how you guys are. So please stay very safe. Very important. That's what I have. Why give me the kind of looks, Faltrani?
Well, I'm asking you, Altu Baba, do you have a Gane Ka Kira, or should I just rattle off some headlines?
Faltrani, I do have a Gane Kira, but I don't mind because people are waiting to listen to what's happening with the world and everything. So why don't you just take it away there if you want, Faltrani?
Well, Russian President Vladimir Putin claimed victory on Monday in defending Kazakhstan from what he described as a foreign-backed terrorist uprising and promised leaders of other ex-Soviet states that a Moscow-led alliance will protect them too.
Nice.
No,
Because the protector of the world.
yes, exactly. And in the meanwhile, speaking of that, let's tell you that US and Russia are still poles apart after the Ukraine talks. They gave no sign that they've narrowed their differences on Ukraine and wider European security in talks in Geneva on Monday, as Moscow repeated demands that Washington says it will not accept. Novak Djokovic is back in practice after winning the appeal to stay in Australia. He won a court challenge to remain in Australia, thanking the judge who released him from immigration detention and said he remained focused on his bid for a record 21st Grand Slam win in Melbourne. And in news from India, Bandhujan, let's tell you, they reported 179,723 cases of COVID and 146 deaths. Meanwhile, the country will start administering the booster vaccine dose against the virus to healthcare workers and people who are in vulnerable situations. In election news, the BJP is likely to win in Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand and Goa. The Aam Aadmi Party is close to majority mark in Punjab, according to a recent opinion poll. And in other news, people are saying that, Tamil Nadu, you remember Jallikattu, there was a huge controversy with regard to the bulls.
Yeah.
Well, it is going to happen this year, and the Tamil Nadu government has agreed to allow Jallikattu with 300 bulls and only about 150 spectators. And Kattappa. Remember Kattappa from Bahubali?
What happened to him?
Well, he has got tested positive for COVID.
I thought he was going to have a spin-off. Right?
Satyaraj, huh?
I thought there was going to be a spin-off of Kattappa.
No. He has just recently been admitted to a hospital after he tested positive for COVID-19. Best wishes for the actor to recover. Satyaraj has been hospitalized in Tamil Nadu. And that's pretty much what we have in news from across the world. And one news item that I do want to know, which Altu Baba would find very, very interesting, is that, Bandhujan, if you have a pet, especially dogs, and you speak to them in a different language, and you think that dogs really don't understand language.
They do. I know from day number
They
one.
understand that you're speaking a different language.
Oh, it's
And
old
they
news.
also understand when you're talking nonsense, when you go, when you do that.
Because they understand the underlying feeling, the love, compassion is what they understand.
They're saying that they can understand that your language has changed. You're using a different language and you're using nonsensical language also, apparently. How, what, when, where, why, all that you'll find on mediamahima.com. And according to the most recent survey of the best performing airline during this whole pandemic situation.
Let me guess. Emirate.
No,
Oh, really? Cathay Pacific.
Delta.
D-
Delta.
See, local.
They have the highest on-time arrivals and least number of cancellations, as opposed to Southwest, United, and all these other. So Delta Sky Miles.
Are you saying Delta actually is really prevalent right now?
About that's all we have time for this morning's Good Morning Babe. We'll be back tonight live at 5 on the Pam Pam Show. Have yourselves a magnificent Monday.
I think people felt like instead of having Delta in you could actually be in Delta.
Oh, God.
पॉजिटिव टूटे दिल के पुरजे पुरजे जोड़ के पुरजे पुरजे जोड़ के पुरजे पुरजे जोड़ के फिकर भुला के डांस कर बाकी रप्पे जोड़ दे देसी या फिर डांस कर बाकी रप्पे जोड़ दे फिकर भुला के डांस कर बाकी रप्पे जोड़ दे देसी या फिर डांस कर बाकी रप्पे जोड़ दे.
Hi, this is Farhan Akhtar and you're listening to Radio The Hotties, where the entertainment just keeps getting hotter.